As a mother of a vaccine-injured child, the hardest comment to hear from people is when they say over and over again, "Don't listen to them. They're just a bunch of crazy mothers." I am a mother. I am the one who knows the rhythm of my child's heartbeat. I am the one who gave life to this baby, no easy feat. I am that baby's first food, first sustenance in every sense of the word, emotionally, physically, spiritually, whether the first or the third. I have what it needs to survive and thrive. And now that they've grown a little, as a mother, I know when they need to eat or poop or get a big hug. I know when they are hiding. I know if they are lying. I know who hit who first without even trying. I know how they like to sleep, one bundled up, one without covers, and one somewhere in between. I know all of their dreams. I know their fears, their hopes. I know their wins and their losses. I know which one loves to brush her teeth and flosses every day so she won't get a cavity. I know how he won't eat it unless it's exactly right, so I'll make 3 meals just to avoid a fight. I know how to keep them safe, how to read the emotion on their little face, how one needs a nap while the other needs some space. I know how to juggle their feelings and toys and somehow keep it together with all that noise, and most importantly, I know what happened to my little boy. I know he had his shots one day at 6 months, the DTaP rotavirus Hib, and then fell into a deep sleep as I lay him in his crib, a sleep that instantly made me uneasy. When he awoke, he just screamed. He screamed for weeks and arched his back, but the nurses said it wasn't because of the DTaP. They said he just needed to poop because he hadn't in a couple of days. And so I prayed. And when he did finally go, it was green and slimy, so acidic it burned him. My mind was turning. I thought the Rotavax was supposed to prevent just that, diarrhea. For months it stayed that way. It seemed like his tummy got worse with each passing day. Every time I held him, I could feel the volcano that had replaced his stomach. But the doctor just said it was because he liked hummus and veggies. And then the ear infections began over and over, singles and doubles, but he'd received the Hib, which was supposed to prevent this. Still, the infections continued until I relented and he was put under to have tubes put in his tiny ears. My happy boy was no more. He was fussy and hurting, always in tears. I had no place to turn. I trudged on and realized I had so much to learn. He developed food allergies, another vaccine side effect. To gluten and dairy, to soy and to citrus, to everything it seemed except for my kisses, which I smothered him in to try and help him feel better. And then around 12 months, my nightmares came true as I watched the fog roll in. It tried to take my boy too. I could see it in his face. He stopped smiling, he stopped waving, he stopped taking up space. He would stand by the window and not respond to his name. I knew then and there what was happening and began my crusade to bring my boy back, to fix my mistake. So imagine what happens when a mother realizes her child's injuries because of her, and a decision she made without researching to see if it was really as safe as they say. It drives you to the brink. And then you come back. And you think, what can I do? How can I fix this? I buried my pain. It wasn't important. Our lives had been changed. It's time to move forward. Then the research began. Studies published, books read. I reached out to doctors who scoffed and shook heads. But the new doctors and parents who embraced us with degrees, knowledge, and motives we can trust, who knew what we'd been dealing with, what was our truth. We weren't making this up, and there are things you can do to help your child recover from you. So we focused on that, what we knew. The biggest thing was, as always, the food. We changed our whole diet and lifestyle too. I wanted to heal him, not just get him through. So more research, more books, supplements, 2 probiotics and enzymes as he turned 2. He was getting better, but still verbally delayed. And I will never forget that beautiful day when I knew this regimen was working because he looked at me and sang his ABCs out of the blue. He had never uttered a part of that song before. My heart skipped a beat as my jaw hit the floor. I felt hope that day and gratitude in so many ways for the amazing doctors and authors and friends who'd kept us sane. The chiropractor, the diet, boosting his immune system, eliminating the toxins that can constantly surround him. It was all helping. Pieces of the puzzle were coming together. The fog that rolled in lifted. and we saw better weather. Turns out there's a gene, a genetic mutation, that actually impairs your body's methylation. So kids who have this MTHFR or another variant, there's at least 50 so far, have a hard time removing the toxics within the vaccines. And there are plenty. We can go down the list, but there's almost too many. Fetal calf serum is a personal fave, monkey kidney cells, and aluminum phosphate. Now, aluminum is dangerous, or so says the FDA. No more than 25 micrograms a day. But in a shot, it's okay. Which is good since a single vaccine can contain up to 800 micrograms. Insane. And what heavy metal have they started to say causes Alzheimer's? I'll give you a hint. It starts with an A. Then there's the formaldehyde, the egg protein, and of course aborted fetal cells. They do try to filter the dead baby stuff out, which is why it's listed as an excipient, no doubt. But the study that found injected DNA can still become biologically active and mutate? I won't get into that here, but let's just say we have no freaking clue if that's even remotely safe. There aren't enough studies, period. But why? I mean, we're talking about our children. You think they'd at least try to make sure that the adjuvants, excipients, preservatives, and of course the virus, dead or alive, will not harm as they stand there and inject it into his arm. Where's the 50-year longitudinal study of vax versus unvaxxed? Why hasn't that happened? If the science is settled, then where is the data? Unavoidably unsafe. Or at least that's what our Supreme Court states, which makes sense when you look at the loads of vaccine injury cases and the amount of money that's been paid to keep families complacent. It's an astounding amount of money each year. A couple $100 million, just so we're clear, and that's just the families that made it to court. So many others don't know they can report it. Doctors say the reactions are normal. Chalk it up to coincidence and never record it. Parents get lost in the shuffle, don't know who to believe, and then begin the journey of trying to grieve for their kid who regressed. They start digging through the mess and trying to find a lawyer with time and energy spent whilst dealing with a sick kid or one that's now dead. That's why the CDC itself estimates only 1 to 10% of problems end up in their database. Go look up the numbers. The website's called VAERS. Do the math and then tell me reactions are rare. Now there is another topic at hand, and this is the stuff that I really can't stand. People that call us crazy, they don't stop there. Mothers don't know how to read a study. They should shut up and go worry about their hair. Us crazy mothers are from all walks of life, including medical professionals. We've endured ridicule and strife, families ripped apart, friends lost. Speaking out against big pharma comes at a high cost, and still we soldier on because we hope that one day this madness will end and our kids will be safe from the now 50 injections the CDC mandates. I've scoured hundreds of studies at this point in time, and so far none of them have given me peace of mind. There isn't a safety study that takes all ingredients combined and injects it into a primate group of some kind whilst having a placebo control group and watching them for signs of neurological, physical, and developmental demise, and then follows them for years, since it can take a long time for the damage to appear and for people to realize that the autoimmune disorders, allergies, and diseases of the mind all come back to this one thing we refer to as causal ties. No study like that exists. The best the CDC can do is hand me a list of just some of the life-changing reactions that can occur and tell me not to worry, don't look any further. Definitely don't confer with the millions of parents who are fighting to be heard. I've come across this so many times. I can't ignore it anymore. I'm drawing the line. When trying to provide some proof of our experience. Hey guys, wait, look what I just read. It's making me irate. No, little girl. You don't know how to read. Go back to where you came from and continue to breed. Don't question about your babies, leave that to us. We know the science. In God's name, you trust. All of our crazy mother stories are different and yet the same, because every single one of them contain a feeling of dread. A vaccine, a reaction, and the realization you just made your bed. Now you have to lie in it. But I'm not gonna end this one on a bad note. Because if nothing else, take this from what I wrote. Mothers are strong and capable and resilient. We are strong enough to admit our mistake and even stronger still to forgive ourselves, though that may take a while. We are capable of thorough research in order to help our children get better, and so many of them do. And we are resilient because we must be. Our children are officially the sickest generation. Sickness. What do people do when they get sick? As a child, as a teen, as a young adult, even when they have kids themselves? They go ask their mother. And yet they call us crazy mothers. Like that's a bad thing.